The unsolved murder of Kathy Page, Vidor, Texas. On the morning of May 14, 1991, in the quiet town of Vidor, Texas, a tragic scene unfolded that would become one of the most infamous unsolved murders in East Texas history. Kathy Page, a 34-year-old mother of two, was found dead in her car, staged to look like an accident. However, what initially seemed like a tragic case of reckless driving soon unraveled into a chilling and complex murder mystery that remains unsolved over 3 decades later. The crime scene. Kathy's body was discovered inside her light-colored Mercury Topaz, which had veered into a ditch near Interstate 10. To an untrained eye, it appeared she had lost control of her vehicle, but something was off. Authorities arriving at the scene noticed that the accident appeared staged. Kathy's body was slumped in the driver's seat, yet there was no sign of a high-speed collision or serious vehicle damage. More importantly, she had ligature marks on her neck, suggesting strangulation. The investigation quickly turned toward foul play. An autopsy confirmed that Kathy had been strangled to death before being placed in her car. The real crime scene was not the ditch where she was found, but elsewhere, likely her own home. A troubled marriage and a prime suspect. Kathy was in the midst of a troubled separation from her husband, Steve Page. The couple had been married for over a decade, but were in the process of divorce. According to friends and family, Kathy had expressed fear for her safety, claiming that Steve had been controlling and abusive. The night before her murder, Kathy had gone out on a date with another man, a fact that seemed to enrage Steve when he found out. Steve Page quickly became the prime suspect. Investigators discovered that he had given inconsistent statements and showed little emotion regarding his wife's murder. Adding to suspicions, Kathy's parents, James and Dorothy Fulton, accused him of being responsible for their daughter's death. They claimed that Steve had even bragged about getting away with it. Suspicious behavior and legal battles. Despite being the main suspect, Steve Page was never arrested for the murder. However, Kathy's parents took him to civil court and won a wrongful death lawsuit against him in 1999. A jury found Steve liable for Kathy's death, awarding the Fulton family $150,000 in damages. Yet, no criminal charges were ever filed, and he continued to live freely in Vidor. James Fulton, Kathy's father, became a relentless advocate for justice. He even put up billboards along Interstate 10, publicly accusing Steve Page of murder and calling out the Vidor Police Department for their failure to arrest him. Some of these billboards read, "Vidor police botched up the case. Steve Page killed my daughter. Steve Page is the suspect in the murder of his wife, Kathy Page. The police know it, do you?" The billboards became infamous, drawing national media attention. They were even referenced in the 2011 movie Bernie, starring Jack Black and Matthew McConaughey. Lingering questions and theories. One of the biggest questions in Kathy's case is why law enforcement never made an arrest. The physical evidence, including the staged accident and autopsy report, strongly pointed to foul play. But without direct witnesses or forensic proof placing Steve at the scene, prosecutors likely felt they did not have enough to secure a conviction. Some theorists believe corruption within local law enforcement played a role in protecting Steve Page. Others suspect that a lack of resources and investigative failures resulted in a missed opportunity to bring him to justice. Present day, a case that haunts East Texas. Despite the passage of time, Kathy Page's murder remains officially unsolved. Her father, James Fulton, continued to fight for justice until his death in 2019. The billboard stood for years as a stark reminder of the case, a message to Steve Page and the authorities who failed to bring closure. To this day, Steve Page maintains his innocence. No new evidence has surfaced, and the case remains open but inactive. For many in East Texas, the murder of Kathy Page is a haunting reminder of how some crimes, despite overwhelming suspicion, remain unresolved.